Ah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. So I'm alive. Don't worry about it.
Oh, geez, what the heck was that? But anyway, glad to hear you're doing okay, buddy.
Awesome, awesome, and it sounds to me that you're doing good as well.
Ah, yes, indeed. I'm very happy to hear you finally got a chance to watch a film that I've seen for months now.
Yes, which we will talk more into detail, though I'm not sure we're gonna get into spoiler territory for the viewers.
That depends because like it's been months since the movie had already come out. Hell, it's almost been like half a year now at this point.
That's
But
true.
then
Yeah.
again, wait, was this the last airing, or were there still more days left for the film?
I'm honestly not sure.
Mm.
I know aside from the fan screenings, the movie is officially released worldwide. I'm just not sure how long it's going to stay up in theaters.
All right. So, because like there's a lot to get into with this film. I mean, we're talking about surprising revelations, that twist ending, all that kind of stuff. There's just so much to really go into it. It's kind of, to me, impossible to sort of talk about it without really bringing the spoiler content, because a lot of the spoiler content is the plot itself, you know, and you need to bring up those certain elements for it to make sense with what you're trying to discuss. So it's like I don't think we can neglect the spoilers. We pretty much are gonna have to bring it up, but of course, you know, to make sure, we will tell everybody in the chat when we intend to get into the spoiler talk for Weathering with You. So folks, do not worry about that. If you really don't want to get spoiled, we'll let you know when we get to that discussion. But for now, we'll keep things nice, fresh, and easy as we progress to that. But overall, I have to say, I'm very happy you finally got the chance to watch the film, because now, after months of waiting, I can finally go into further detail regarding this film, man.
I know you've been holding it for quite long.
Yeah, dude, I've held it in, man. You know, obviously, given the fact that this film premiered, at least in the US, in Anime NYC, which was, I think, the biggest shocker for me, because I didn't think Anime NYC would be able to get their hands on a film that's blown up to maximum proportions over in Japan and have it here for the event. But they did.
And I wasn't there for it.
I know, man. I was rooting for you to come there, buddy. It was very sad you weren't there, but I watched it for both of us. I brought an Eevee plush to make it seem like as if it was you there. You ended up taking a slot as well. Like legit, there, like, because they the way they handled seatings in the actual auditorium, they had, like, I think a limited few of people to get in. So I was there since 8 a.m. waiting in a fake line to get into the movie, because there was an unofficial line to the official line, and when the unofficial line, guess what it was? It was just a cluster. I'm talking about one giant circle, and there was no room to walk anywhere. However, what really was lucky for me was that they opened, like, one of the fences in the spot that I was at. So I was able to be one of the first few to walk in and be like the first 100 in line, compared to like everybody else that's all the way in the back. And it was so disorganized. But outside of that, though, it's like it was a smooth experience then getting into the movie itself. And man, what an experience it was to see it. You know, you just seen like all the people get together to watch a film that everybody's been anticipating for, reacting towards certain elements of the film itself. And then, you know, of course, the finale. I mean, like, man, there's so much to talk about. So, Vampire, we're talking about the film Weathering with You. Well, we will get into it in a bit. Right now, we're just sort of doing a pre-show, you know, as we get ourselves set up for Weathering with You full-on review. So, you know, we're just bringing up things that led us to watch the film. But, you know, Evie, just out of curiosity, because I know you originally intended to watch the film a little, you know, earlier than where you're watching it now, right?
Yeah, but given the circumstances that occurred last week, unfortunately, that plan didn't go into fruition. So I had to find a different date, and fortunately, that date was today.
Yeah, you literally just got out. Like, this thing is fresh in your head right now.
Yeah, it still is. And, you know, honestly, I almost didn't. I almost didn't went to see this movie because initially I got up in the morning to go into an appointment that
Mm.
I had to attend, and I looked at the clock, and it was about 11:05 in the morning. I want to
Damn.
say, and the showing was at 11:25 a.m. So I thought to myself, can I make the theaters like in approximately 15 minutes? And I just thought that I'll drive over there and see if luck was in my hands. And fortunately enough, I was able to just barely catch up with the showing. So yes, I was able to make it and see the movie in time. Although I will say that there was only two people, including me, in that entire auditorium.
What?
So,
Damn, that sucks. Or maybe people already saw it earlier, which is why they're probably not there.
yeah.
But damn, that sucks.
Well, I guess it lets people the more the more privacy that I get to enjoy the theater all to yourself.
Yeah, you kick back, take out your shoes, just get your popcorn and food ready. Bam! Oh, that whole theater's like as if it's you ordered the whole theater for yourself, man.
Exactly. Although I was the only one in the auditorium when the after credits interview came up. So yeah, I stick around for that as well.
Oh, you actually saw an after credits interview?
Yeah.
So it says no one can hear you cry. That is the truth, man. There are some tear jerking moments in this film, man. I swear to God. Like some scenes got to me emotionally.
There were indeed.
Yeah, but we'll get to that soon enough. Right now, I'm just making sure to let everybody know we are live, etc., and then we'll get into the review for tonight. So,
all right. And hopefully Discord doesn't keep pooping out on me because this is like the second time trying to get back into the call for whatever strange reason. Just Discord doesn't like me right now.
Damn. Maybe we if anything happens, maybe we need to do like a separate call and then we'll see if it works then, or is it just like your internet maybe going on right now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we'll figure something out if this continues. But so far, this probably the longest stint that I've been in this call. So we're doing good so far.
All right, we're surviving. Let's make sure we keep that throughout the whole night. Then why don't we?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just make sure to let everybody know we are live. Poof, there we go.
Actually, speaking of movies, have we talked about the Konosuba movie into further detail?
Yes, we have a little bit because we did actually watch the film. We ended up talking about. Well, actually, we never got into spoiler territory for that one.
Yeah.
You want to just take a brief second to talk about some of the spoilers in the film? As I prepare this up, because I mean, like we already gave our impressions on the film itself, but there are certain elements of the film I really want to talk about that made me go, "Why does this need to exist? There's no reason this needed to exist, but you did it anyway." I think you might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to, and you know what? I'd say why not? At this point, Konosuba, the movie at least, it's already way past its its theater run in the United States. So I think it's already a good amount of time for us to talk about this movie into further detail. So yeah, I say
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and get into spoiler territory with this discussion. But anyways, once again, for those of you who needed a little review as to how we got into watching this movie. This movie actually aired on the week prior to Anime NYC.
Yeah, literally like the day before, I think it was.
Yeah, it was the day before. So they initially planned to only have one showing, which was on Tuesday of that week, but they decided to do an encore showing on Thursday, which I thought it was pretty convenient because wait, was it Thursday or was it Friday? It was Thursday. It was Thursday. So it was pretty convenient event for me and KG to get ourselves into the movie before the actual Anime NYC event day one. So
yeah.
So we got into this movie and just overall we were just laughing our asses off because it's basically Konosuba in a 1 hour 30-minute film in a nutshell.
It's basically how do we just squeeze all of the comedy into a movie and use a whole volume, I think it was, to kind of push the plot.
Yeah.
Boy, did they deliver. Like, from the very beginning of the film, and we're not getting into Weathering with You, we're talking about Konosuba first, and then we'll get into Weathering with You, but the beginning of the film, like, immediately where Kazuma's like, oh man, you know, for being a main protagonist, I don't really get anything special out of this, and then Yun comes out of nowhere, she's like, I need to have a baby with you, and Kazuma comes out of nowhere with, like, the most smug face you could think of.
And so my popular face begins.
And then the movie title just appears right there. Like, but that head turn was so beautifully animated. Like, he animates from, like, this, like, what the F, to just straight up, oh, it's my time now, boys. Like,
you know what?
Go on.
Fortunately, there was a good amount of people on that theater, because if there's anything that makes a movie better, it's sharing it with the audience.
Oh, dude, yes. It was great, man. I just love the crowd, the audience, everybody laughing at the same jokes and just hearing everybody bursting into tears during certain scenes. Without a doubt, though, Evie, without a doubt, as Arian brought up, the psychological trauma that poor Cosmo had to go throughout the entire film was so hilarious. Like, the beginning with the, what was it, the orcs, was it?
There were, like, a bunch of female orcs.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so when they were when Wiz was teleporting Cosmo and his group into where the village where Megumin lives, she realizes that she teleported them into a different location, and only for the screen to pan over to a completely empty field, only to see Kazuma getting chased by this fucking horde of female orcs, just basically wanting to basically bang Kazuma.
Yeah, because since he was the only dude there, they didn't go after the girls. They only went straight to him. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
It was, dude. And Jesus Christ, those female orcs were not hesitating whatsoever to get what they want.
Oh my god, though, like after following that scene, you see Kazuma, like, crying behind the bush the entire time for, like, a good 5 minutes. And I love how that was also used to kind of move the plot forward as well. I thought that was great. Yeah, so overall, man, like, that scene was amazing. But to be honest, though, my favorite scene has to be when Kazuma just gets up, spreads his hands out, and lets himself get caught by the villain, all because of Titty, man.
It was his popular face, so he had to go for it, man.
Oh, dude,
he was willing
so
to sacrifice
great.
his own life.
I know. And you see, for like you know, for a few minutes, like, everybody was just dying of laughter. Like, the entire audience couldn't believe. And you know what also helped too? The animation, where, like, they gave it, like, this after effect where, like, it started rainbow colors as he was being dragged away.
Yeah.
Or or the other bit where he's like, Kazuma's like galaxy brain thinking as he's walking around the bed where Megumin's sleeping in, and he's trying to do, like, God.
And last I forget with that with that room, the second time Megumin woke up from her nap, you just see Kazuma holding Megumin's hand and then doing the 60 frames per second on the worm of Megumin's hand.
Oh my god, and it's great too because, like, he freezes the window to make sure she doesn't leave this time around. Like, it's shit like this that just made me enjoy the plot. And it didn't help that Megumin's parents, I think, were kind of trying to push that as well.
More specifically, her mom. But I see what you're trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the nutso, man. But, like, damn, like, she has good taste in ships, man.
I won't disagree on that. I won't disagree.
With that being said, though, to me, the biggest plot twist was the revelation.
Yes.
Yeah.
This entire revelation behind the antagonist of the film.
Dude, the moment you hear ding in the background, you will burst into tears. I swear, you will die of laughter. It's so incredibly like the whole structure of the film leading to that moment was one of the best I've ever seen from a comedy film, man. It was so beautifully timed.
I would have to agree with you on that because just once you get to see this this the main antagonist from when you see it in the trailer, you thought that she was just this like this upcoming female villain that's basically trying to destroy Megumi's village.
Yes.
But then you realize that as you further get to know her, that little thing is a huge revelation signal that pretty much defines who she is as a character.
And boy, wow.
And yes, that is the second time Cosmo pretty much got psychologically scared.
Oh my god!
Poor man. Because prior to the film, you get to see the voice actors of Cosmo and Megumi, and before we got into the actual film itself, you hear from Cosmo's voice actor that you're going to feel bad for Cosmo throughout the entire film, and I can see why now.
Yeah,
Disney has gone through a lot.
So, anything else you want to bring up about the film by any chance? Well, I'm just gonna go and drop my dog outside because door's closed. I'm gonna just go and drop her out real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and take care of your doggo. Although I will say that one thing I didn't like about the film, which is a bit of a drawback from giving this like a really, really good rating, would have to be Sylvia's introduction into the film.
There you go.
Because really we don't know much about I just think like her first scene into the film was probably the most. In other words, the writers were trying to find a way to get Sylvia introduced into this film, and they did so in a more sudden approach. See, I would have liked it if we got introduced to Sylvia the way we got introduced to what is it, the Headless Knight, as well as the antagonist from season 2 of Konosuba.
The Doodlelot and what was it?
Doodlelot and the monster that says the slime monster.
Yeah, that slime thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that that Sylvia's introduction into the film was too sudden. Like, we pan over to this next scene where Darkness was dealing with a mob of goblins, and then you just see Sylvia just boop, right there.
Yeah, she just sort of comes into the actual film. Like, you were kind of hoping there would be a little more leading up to it, but this is the issue that you have when you're trying to convert a series, a light novel series, into a film in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a full volume I'm talking about. So to cram it into a film, you had to make some cuts, and unfortunately that was one of the cuts that they had there.
Right. But other than that, really, if you love Konosuba, and if you want a Konosuba film, if you want Konosuba that's jam packed into an hour 30 film, definitely give this a watch. You will laugh your asses off. Your abs, you're probably going to end up with with injured abs. But this was worth every penny.
Yeah,
this really was.
It was an amazing experience. The audience was great, except for that one guy sleeping. But everything else was great.
One guy sleeping, yeah.
Oh my god, I still can't believe you didn't see the fucking bottle thrown out.
I didn't see it. Okay, see, this is what happens when you go into the theater. You're so fixated into the film that you barely pay attention to what's going on around you. I mean, yeah, I obviously caught the snoring, but not the water bottle.
That shit had me dying, though. Though.
But you know what? It just adds more to the movie experience. I will say that much, though.
Yeah, absolutely did. So overall, to me, solid film. Absolutely love the Konosuba film. Now we're just waiting for the day when we can get a actual TV season. That would be great.
Please, yes. And one last thing too. Kudos to JC staff for actually doing a pretty good job with this film. I wasn't expecting them to to follow up or be that familiar with Konosuba in terms of the elements and some of the things that define Konosuba.
Yeah.
But they did a pretty good job for handling this film overall. So kudos to them for for not making any drastic changes into this film and actually make this very enjoyable. So yeah, huge shout out to them.
Indeed, man. I'm hoping for great things from the series moving forward, and let's hope it's even better, because JC Staff had a really bad reputation during last year, sadly, but I think they made up on the film aspects though, and hopefully this year JC Staff can definitely rise up and be a great anime studio again that everybody can adore and love, and I think they will, man. I absolutely think they will.
Yeah, at least this is a good first step for their redemption. So
yeah, the redemption arc for the new decade, man. For
exactly.
Bad reputation in regards to really the thing is, JC Staff had the issue last year with having too much anime under their belt to where the animation absolutely suffered tremendously for a lot of series.
Right.
I mean, for Index 3, a lot of people criticized the storytelling and the animation department for certain scenes. You can't forget One Punch Man Season 2. You could definitely tell that was absolutely rushed to hell.
Unfortunately, one of the more forgettable animes of last year.
That hurt, man. That hurts, especially when you think about the level of excitement that One Punch Man is supposed to have,
Right.
To be neglected like this is absolutely heartbreaking, but moving along from that, you also had Food Wars as well. And to me, that was a slideshow.
Yeah.
Sadly.
You had Food Wars. You also had Toradora as well. One of the more recognizable romance animes out there. Danmachi as well.
Yeah.
They've done some good job on at least some works. But unfortunately, not at least as of recently, it hasn't been that great. So, at least, here's hoping that this is a first step back to redemption,
or at least just being more organized with how they're handling things, man.
Yeah, because I just realized right now that they were also the studios that were behind Sakurasu or Sakasushi, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that anime, and I gotta give huge praise to JC Staff for that. But hopefully they get back up on their feet one of these days. Hopefully this year, if anything.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I would love to get back into it one of these days. But for now, I guess that'll be something we'll save for the distant future, man. Alright, so I guess we're finally ready to now take this opportunity to go and talk a little bit about the film Weathering With You. Are you ready on this one, buddy? Alright, so let me just transition here. Alright, now...
we got a 6 frame per second.
Yeah, that 6 frame per second Pokeball. Now, key thing to note about this review. I want to say we probably will be getting into spoiler territory, unfortunately, because, as I was mentioning before, there are elements in this film that you need to bring up to even try making sense of what we're talking about, because there are a lot of, mystical fantasy elements to the storyline that if I try to be super vague about it, you're going to be like, what is this man even talking about? You know what I mean?
It's hard to talk about this movie without getting into further detail, and unfortunately, that does come with spoilers.
Yeah, so to make it easier for us, we really are going to get into spoiler territory, and, obviously, when the film comes out, and whatnot, you get a chance to watch the film, come back and listen to our review to this when you get the opportunity. Yeah, just keep us muted. We'll write in the chat when we will let you guys know when we come back. So for now, you just keep it muted if you like to let it play in the background, etc. All that stuff. So yeah, once again, amazing opportunity to even get the chance to see this film. It is absolutely remarkable, and I'm expecting great things from this film moving forward, and hopefully more people can give this an opportunity to experience it. However, I will say one thing, and I don't know if you agree with me on this one, Evie, especially since you just came out of the film, not too long ago. You literally just saw this today.
Go ahead.
My thing is, unfortunately to me, this film is a film that you need to see more than once.
More than once. You know what? I do have to agree with you there, because there might be some things that I probably caught the first time. I mean, aside from the obvious ones that stand out.
Yeah, like the ones that are thrown
detail.
into your face right there to let you know they're there.
But yes, I do agree with you that you had to watch this more than once, because it's one of those films that, as you mentioned earlier on your Freaks experience, KG, it's one of those films where you had to play careful attention to throughout the entire premise of this film.
Yeah, because they could show you a simple shot of the film focusing on something, and it might not mean anything at that moment, but then that particular image is going to be brought up later into the film, and you're going to be like, oh my god, they connected A to B, or B to C, or C to A. Like, they have those kind of things where they foreshadow a lot of events coming forward that may not mean much to you when you're seeing it now, but when you get to that plot point, those are going to be brought up, and you're going to be like, oh my god, so that's what it was meant for. And then you're going to want to, you would wish you could rewind back then to see some of the hidden little details that they hid throughout the film. But to me personally, I think this is going to be one of the things people are going to miss. Cameos. There are a couple of cameos in this film, some heavy hitter ones. If you've seen a particular film, you'll know a particular cast of characters making an appearance in this movie. However, there is one character in particular that a lot of people miss, only because this cameo was so behind the scenes kind of thing. It wasn't like put into your face like the other cameos. No, this one was hidden very deeply in the background for like a couple of seconds. That's how hidden this character was. Did you see the character that I'm talking about, Evie?
No, but I did keep your tweet in mind. There was this one particular character that if any of us caught when we were watching the film. Unfortunately, I was looking for that character and I didn't find that person.
All right then.
So, I don't mind you spoiling it. By the way, it just if anything, just let me know and who it is.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know right now, actually.
And when that particular character appears.
Alright, so the character that I'm referring to, coincidentally, we were just talking about the film a couple of minutes ago. The character that was in the background was Aqua from Konosuba.
Aqua from Konosuba. I'm trying to look back and see if I actually saw her.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. She was not like the character that was up front and center. No, she was hidden in the background. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is because she came and left, because that scene wasn't like a scene that needed to be put a lot of attention towards to. I think this was during the moment when they were pushing the whole, the mystical girl kind of thing, where she, brings light to these certain areas and whatnot, and she like goes from place to place to bring light to certain parts of the world. They had like a montage sequence, if you remember that, where they had like the kid be in the giant costume as they roam around the various areas, whether it be to bridges, to different parts of lands, to monuments, all that stuff. And there was a sequence when they were in a convention. They actually did something there. And this wasn't any regular convention. No, this was an anime convention. Hidden in the background was Aqua walking by.
Okay. So it was during that montage where they were pretty much fulfilling that those requests for the people around Tokyo.
Exactly. It was like during that musical montage, I want to say, where they had like the song playing in the background, if I'm remembering correctly, because remember, I'm going by memories from back in November here. So
yeah, I know one particular segment you're referring to. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really where the character appeared. Now, of course, it isn't actually Aqua herself. I just told you it's an anime convention. It's somebody dressed up as Aqua. But the mere fact that a character like Aqua from Konosuba, of all characters, appeared in the background like this in a sequence that was just there and left, was mind blowing to me. I was like, like when this scene happened during the convention I was in Anime NYC. There were a couple of like little oh my god kind of segments, but nobody in the entire audience caught wind of Aqua in the background because that's how quick that scene went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let that sink in regards to how hidden this one cameo is. And I'm pretty confident that there are more cameos in the background. It's just that I need to go see the film again to even see them. And it's like, I don't have access to it at the moment. So what am I supposed to do? I just have to wait, so.
Right. Well, at least that Aqua in the movie made herself more useful compared to the
our Aqua from Konosuba.
Our Aqua, yeah.
Oh man, but dude, that was a cute little cameo. I'm glad they got permission. I assume they did to use Aqua in the background like that. So very very cute little moment there. Of course, the real cameos.
The real cameos, yeah.
I want to say, do you know where they came from, Evie?
I did. Okay, look, I will say this. I haven't seen the film, but I am very well familiar with who they are.
Okay. So yeah, those characters, when they appeared, the only reason why I caught wind of them was because the audience went nuts when they appeared on screen for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a nice little detail because I was like, oh, they look familiar. And then when I heard the entire audience go nuts, I'm like, oh, it's them! I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, those are some really fantastic cameos because they didn't feel like forced into the storyline. No, they felt very genuine to the plot moving forward,
It felt like they blended in with the movie to make this stuff unrecognizable at first.
Yeah. And man, did it succeed. To me, it did.
It definitely worked out. Yeah, when it comes to revealing to us who these characters actually are for those who've actually seen the film. Like, man, that is a great way to introduce these characters into the film.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. So, now that we got the cameo and sort of things out of the way, let's take a bit to talk about the actual plot of the film in itself. And
yes,
boy, is it, the more I think about it, the more difficult it really is to kind of break down the entire film. Because so much in this film goes down. I mean, from the cast of characters to the storyline in itself, the mystical power elements, things that appear throughout the film, and then using that power to affect the weather, which of course is referring to the film Weathering with You, and then of course the plot twist in regards to the side effects of having this ability, all that stuff. And even the finale, man. The finale is like, what the absolute heck happened here? It's really going to be difficult for me to kind of break it down bit by bit. So what I did is I got like a clip note version here of like the summary of Weathering with You. I'm going to probably just briefly skim through it and then probably bring up certain parts of the film, that I think are, something we should talk about. So
yeah, well, don't forget that I saw this film like a few hours ago, so the film is still pretty fresh in my mind, so I can help you along with that if it's necessary.
All right then, so let's start from the beginning and then we'll break down just certain elements of the film. We're not going to spoil every single thing, but we just want to talk about like the characters and how it leads to the plot.
Right, pretty much the main point.
Yeah, so let's begin with the very beginning. Of course, we have our main protagonist, who I think his name is Hodaka Morishima. Now, he's a high school student who ends up leaving his island for Tokyo, and he lives in isolation and ends up finding himself a job as a writer in Tokyo. But the thing is, the lead up to that moment was pretty scary, because you have to understand he's moving from one country to one part of the country to another without anything to back him up. So he doesn't have like a school license of some sort to kind of allow him to legally walk around at night. He's kind of like an illegal immigrant in a way.
Yeah, like he's still young. Like obviously, when you're as a minor, you don't get as much benefits compared to when you turn 18 or when or when you become an actual adult. So, even you get to see this, you in the beginning of this film, you see this compilation of this of Horoka going through different parts of Tokyo, trying to find ways to make a living at least, right? So, pretty much his main objective was to find a part-time job to at least suffice through to get through the living expenses of Tokyo. And I will say this, that the writers and director of this film did a pretty good job using weather to depict the mood and the emotions that this character is going through, because man, like, you can understand the struggles that he's going through right now, like almost as though he's like you say, KG, like you could take it as if he's an illegal immigrant, or he's pretty much homeless. He's pretty much a pretty homeless kid just struggling to make a living.
Yeah, he's trying to find his identity in this world, and it doesn't help that he ends up in parts of Tokyo that aren't exactly what you would consider safe. I mean, like, he ended up meeting people who beat the shit out of him,
Right.
And that didn't help him at all. And then he goes to, like, what was it, McDonald's or something later down the road, where he meets up with another character who we'll talk about in just a minute. It's like he goes through a lot. And then it doesn't help that he ends up getting a weapon at the very beginning. So that doesn't help him at all as the film progresses on, because he tries to separate himself from that, but it doesn't. And it's very very shocking when you get to certain parts of the film later down the road where that weapon comes back into use, and it's like, oh my god. So
yeah.
I anything you want to talk about in regards to Horoka from the very beginning anyway? I saw somebody in the chat mention about how he was a homie. Dude, that man straight up is a good man. Like, absolutely. Like, I want to say something right now regarding the film, but I'm going to hold on to it until we get into later in the discussion. But he does something that's like, really now? You're really going to do that? So, yeah.
I will say this much, though. When are we getting a season 2 of My Neighbor's a Cat? If you know what I'm referring to.
We technically did during that quote-unquote time skip, because, like, you see him again, and that cat drastically changed. I felt bad for that cat. I'm sorry. That cat didn't deserve to go through that. Oh, shoot, man. That poor little kitty. Oh, man. I'm trying to remember what the name of the cat was, though.
Rain. It was Ame, I believe.
Ame?
I believe. I think it is. Let me Google it just in case. But
all right.
It does have to involve. It involves rain.
Yeah, something rain related, because that's when they ended up encountering each other outside in the middle of the rain at night. So it only made sense for it to be that way. Now,
yeah, it was Ame.
All right then. Ami in Japan, Rain in the dub. Cute name though. So as I mentioned before, there was a McDonald's scene. I mean, a legit McDonald's scene. I'm not talking about like those Whack-Donalds or McDonald's or some shit like that. No, I mean a legitimate McDonald's in the plot of this film.
There were actually some legitimate brands in the film if you pay attention to it as well.
Yeah, if you want to talk about cameos, like, try to go and hunt for all the little nods to actual real stores and brands out there. There are a bunch. I was hoping for one of the characters to end up being working for K's, honestly.
For K's?
Yeah, from K's. I was hoping for that. Yeah, you know which one I'm referring to, right?
I know. Yeah, I
know.
know.
I was like, please let that be K's. But yeah, so in the McDonald's moment, we end up encountering another character who I really want you to discuss more, because I think you have more memory with it. Hina,
yes. So pretty much, Hodaka, as we brought up, he was struggling to find a part-time job, and also he was starting to get hungry. So he eventually ended up in this one particular McDonald's in Tokyo, where he eventually, he was actually approached by Hina, who happened to be working there, and she offered him a Big Mac.
Yeah.
And from there he just basically took his leave and just went up continuing his job searching. But that was the only appearance that we got to see of Hina at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Which we will eventually see her, of course, because she's one of the main characters.
Yeah, but I think they shifted from her to the brother. Because the brother ended up being like, yeah, because
that's right.
Because the little brother, ended up being the one to help out Hodaka for a little bit before ending up encountering the writer. Let me see. I think his name was Keisuke. Keisuke, I think that's how you pronounce it. Keisuke Suga.
Yeah, he's the writer.
Yeah, he's the writer who ends up hiring Hodaka in regards to helping out on like a lot of the mystical elements that don't necessarily like the unnatural, if that's the best way to go at it. Like mysteries and ghost stories, all that kind of stuff. Like he tries to get those kind of stories out to push the things that he writes online. Of course, he's not alone, as there is another character that also is alongside with Keisuke, ends up being Natsumi Suga,
is she a woman?
Dude, they put focus on her during certain sequences that are like a tease, and I loved every single bit, especially when you get to a revelation in not the episode, but in the film later down the road that made me burst into laughter, because I was like, Hodaka, you dog, you. How could I love that whole sequence, man. It was great. We'll probably get into that soon enough. That couch scene or couch, maybe.
I think he meant to say the couch scene, but yes.
Oh, dude, yeah. She 10 out of 10 wife. Definitely without a doubt. And I don't mean that just from appearance. No, I mean that from like story element. Dude, she was amazing. She helped with the plot, man. It was great.
Definitely. Like she definitely plays some helpful roles throughout the entire film, which we'll probably talk more about. Especially when we get into the end of the film. So yeah, I really like Natsumi in this film.
All right, as you continue on, I gotta go help out Doggos again.
Yeah, no, you're good. It looks like Doggo wants to get into the discussion. Actually, wants something to say about Natsumi. But yeah, actually, while we're waiting for KG, let's see. What did you? I want to know from your guys' opinion for those who've seen the film. Out of 10, what did you guys think of the film overall? Because, man, I had a really great time. And, as KG mentioned, this is one of those films that does need to be watched more than once. And, it's something that I am willing to do to catch those little details. But at the same time, I think the film is just really enjoyable where the rewatch value, it's up there for me. Because, like I mentioned before, when I tweeted out my impressions on the film, the animation and the artwork of this film was pure eye candy. The entire premise of this film has been really amazing for me as well, and you just get to enjoy each and every single character that's been in this film, from the main protagonist to the to the supporting characters as well. And hell, even the policemen were actually pretty good characters to watch from beginning to end. So it's been a really good movie, and I think it's something that's definitely worth watching once again.
Oh man, absolutely, wholeheartedly agree on that part. I need to see this film again, because I swear, I even though I saw the film once, I feel like if I go watch it again, it feels like it's gonna be a completely new experience from the ground up for me. Because it created a story that just flowed so beautifully. You go from like lighthearted moments to dramatic scenes to back to lighthearted moments, cheerful moments, and then into sadness, distraught, all that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. It was just a fantastic film from beginning to end, as I mentioned before. But anyways, let's continue with the
The plot.
with some of the main points of the film. Yeah,
All right.
that made this film a good one for me.
All right. So now here's the thing. We're gonna just like briefly skim through certain elements of the film. For example, like how they end up meeting each other, all that. But the thing I really want to talk about is when Hodaka encounters Hina again. Because this is where you start getting into a lot of her flashback storyline. And you see what she had to go through to where she is at now. Like how she got her ability to clear Wetter out. You know, like that was very, you know, tragic for her. Because I think she too was also in a way a runaway for a bit. Because she wasn't living with any adult. She was living by herself alongside her little brother. Which is of course not something you could do, if I'm correct.
Especially at someone at her age, which we're going to talk about as something that's also be brought up because
oh yeah, that age plays a story in this, and I was surprised by that.
But yeah, so the second time Hodaka and Hina met up again, Hina was you just see her roaming out and about in the streets of Tokyo, and you just see her getting picked up by these two adults, and one of them was actually someone that Hodaka encountered earlier in the film. Yeah, so you know, Hodaka realizes that Hina was in a very uncomfortable position, and he had to do something about it. So he he ran to Hina, swooped her up, and basically ran away from these two guys. But of course, they didn't got too far, and Hodaka ended up getting pinned down by the same guy that actually ran Hodaka out of this one particular location in Tokyo. And you know, like you mentioned, KG, he actually got punched by the same dude who thought that he was messing with him. You know, when they saw each other once again.
And then, like, I think he shot the weapon in that time.
Yeah, he shot the weapon, and
which was an oof, man.
Which he actually mistook for a toy gun, only for him to notice later on that it was an actual gun.
Yeah. And okay, how did he mistake that for a toy?
I don't know.
Man, toy guns must be getting super realistic these days if he mistook that for a toy.
Which wouldn't make any sense. Which wouldn't make any sense because you know Japan has some really strict gun laws, which, you know, whether or not you do get a toy gun, it's something that shouldn't really be taken too lightly, you know?
Exactly. So, that's why this country is, you know, very restrictive on it, to make sure everybody's at peace. Not everybody should be equipped with this kind of weapon, you know? Right. But, dude, man, the moment he shot that weapon out, that was one of the key elements that's going to push the plot forward, which is very unfortunate, but you will understand soon enough.
Right.
But, so, where are you going at now, Evie?
No, I was just moving on to the next points.
All right, then.
Unless you want to talk about it.
No, you continue on, buddy. I think it'll be better.
Yeah, so from there, they managed to get away from those two adults, and from there, they were finally able to introduce one another formally, and from there, they took time to do their, you know, their own daily routines in the meantime, right? Hodaka is back to doing his his writing job, while Hina is back at home, looking after the house and her brother.
Yeah.
And from there, actually Hodaka was getting into a story where there's apparently this 100% sunshine girl that was able to clear the skies of rainy days. And what Hodaka eventually realized was that this entire time Hina was the sunshine girl that he's been hearing about. And Hodaka and Hina, Hodaka got to see that firsthand when Hina took Hodaka back into the shrine that was located on top of one of the buildings, where Hina eventually found found out that she was able to clear the skies of rain.
And this is where like the actual main like moment began, where the moment he discovers this ability, he tries to use this ability for good, for the better good, you know.
Yeah, for the better and good. Yeah, and once Horaka found out that Hina was the Sunshine Girl, he thought that it would be a pretty good idea to make a living out of that, right? To make a living out of her prayers and make people's lives better.
Yeah.
So they opened up a website where people can put in requests to clear up the skies, and that's what he did. And this is where we got a compilation of Horaka, Hina, and her brother, going all around Tokyo and doing these favors for the people who actually want some sunshine for these specific occasions, from a sporting event from the anime convention that we've mentioned before.
Yeah, to even like this big stadium. I'm like, she went to like the top of the tower in like this helicopter and whatnot. I'm like, God damn, what the hell are they making this woman do? Like, she's at the top of the sky doing this prayer, and it's absolutely remarkable because immediately following that scene, they had like fireworks go down. And it was some of the most visually stunning moments I've seen from this film, man. Just beautiful. Sorry, went to get water right now.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
All right, thanks.
Sorry, give me just 1 second here.
All right.
But yeah, at least from what they've been doing, at least these two characters were finally able to make a good living from the money that they've collected from doing these requests. Only for you to find out later on that these at least messing up with the weather comes at a price, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we get to this big plot point in the film. I really want to try to not get too far into it, because I really want to save it for those who really want to go and watch the film later, in case if somebody's watching this video now that don't actually know the elements of the film.
Gotcha.
They bring this plot point up, the side effect I was talking about before. When that gets revealed, dude, everybody's emotions went from like a happiness and joy to straight up depressed and sad. It was tragic. It was emotional. Nobody knew what they could do because it was so out of their league. It's mythical. It's urban. It's like, how do you combat against something that is as fantasy-like as this ability? Without having any real sense of an idea as to what it could bring to the world.
Yeah, pretty much it's an issue that it's kind of impossible to solve. That's pretty much out of their hands,
Yeah. So as this goes on, what happens later down is that as this happens, the police end up starting to get involved in the mix as well, and ends up trying to take away Horaka because, of course, of the weapon that he once possessed earlier ago. And it didn't help now that, Hina and her little brother are now also caught into the mix as well, because they seem to be acquaintances with Horaka. So it starts leading from one bad thing to another, to once again Horaka needs to start fleeing and running away from place to place to place to try to find a home for them. And as this is happening, you start seeing weather elements also being included into the storyline as well. Like snow actually was a plot point at some point in the film as they were fleeing, which was something surprising because it's mainly been all pure rain, throughout the entire film. So to suddenly get out of that into snow, it really is trying to tell you about the world in itself. And as you guys already know, we haven't talked about the actual location. While it is in Tokyo, boy, it's not a good Tokyo, that's for certain. It is unfortunately a very tragic location. I'm talking about if it's raining consistently, of course things are going to come with bad side effects to it, and man, were they gruesome. So, you know, the characters, they're running away, they're trying to find a place to live. They end up at a hotel. Somehow they manage to, because apparently you need to have some form of proof that, you know, you are who you are, and you can, you know, be there for the night. So they gone through hotel to hotel, fail after fail, but and it didn't help that they were also being, you know, on the hunt as well. So people were starting to slowly learn who they were. So you know, they need to put that into consideration. As they get to the hotel, they finally find a place to rest, to sit down, to just chat with everybody, and that was when the plot twist comes into play. And I don't want to reveal it then, because you need to see it for yourself when it happens. But the next day, dude, that revelation came to be, everything went downhill.
Yeah, pretty much the day after they stay at the hotel, that's when you get to see what that what that price is for pretty much changing the weather. And man, what a hell of those final minutes were.
Yeah, I just continue discussing for that one, buddy. I'm just gonna go and grab something real quick outside.
Okay, sounds pretty good. Man, okay, I'll try my best to not spoil too much for those of you who haven't seen the film now, or of course, or who don't want too much details for this spoiler section at least. So, but yeah, pretty much on that day when you find out what happened with Hina, things just changed for the worse. Like, just right before that day, everything was all lighthearted over the fact that that this group of characters were finally able to find a hotel. They were having a blast, just enjoying each other. Just make these memories last pretty much. And then the next day, things just went completely downhill. And Hodaka, well, he's also being hunted by the police, which unfortunately at one point he did eventually end up getting arrested by the police. But of course, with the things that happened with Hina, he has to take action and find some way to to pretty much solve the main conflict of this movie. Because I will let you guys know on this, when that particular moment happened to Hina, it also affected the weather. So,
okay, I'm back, and I think I understand which scene you're talking about.
Yeah, which I'm not going to spoil too much. All you had to know is this: when that particular moment happened to Hina, it also affected the weather, and that's when that's where the ending comes into. That's where the ending comes into fruition, leading up to that moment.
Dude, this is gonna be decisive. In my opinion, I feel like this is gonna be decisive for some people. I want you to think about this real quick. Let's imagine you are in this world, okay? Let's imagine you are in this location right now with the side effects of the film. And the only way the film gets affected is by the girl and her ability to clear weather, okay? When she gets out of the picture, certain effects happen to the world itself. But when she gets brought back, those elements that were once there get brought back as well. So, I want you to think, would you live in a world knowing she exists? And if she exists, the world will not be, going into a more positive direction. But if she gets wiped out from this world, the world will come back to normal.
Right.
It does something like this where I was like, this man just literally created the end of the world, in my opinion, for a girl. You know, like when you get to that point of the film, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But man, I was like, first of all, massive praise to him. He did what he wanted to do. But like when you start looking at the bigger picture, you're like, shit. Was it the right thing? Is what the real question is. You know?
Yeah. What? Yeah. That ending, or at least the entire the end game to the to through Hodaga's decision to go find Hina. It's like, was it really worth it? I mean, to him it probably was, but was it worth it for everything else that happens around them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, nobody in the entire world, except for them, the select few, knew about this ability. You know?
Right.
So, to other people's eyes, to just a regular person walking and living in this world, they don't know what's going on. They don't know the repercussions that this one kid made. You know? So, it's like, maybe it doesn't count, because if nobody knew it to begin with, except for the few that were there, people could just simply view it as though it's just another day, I guess. It's always been like this. Yeah. Might as well keep it that way.
Right.
But, like, for you, the viewer, if you see this, you're like, dude, I appreciate what you went out of your way for this girl, but, like, I don't want to live in that planet, man. I'd rather have her eliminated than be with her. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, of course, love has everything to do with everything. And, man, and also he put money down on that ring, okay? He put a lot of money down. You better get some, you know, some good use out of it, all right?
Yeah. I definitely know what you mean there.
Yeah.
But you know, even though the entire climate has changed when Hodaka was able to find Hina once again, you come to realize later on that Tokyo was the Tokyo that we all knew, from the media, and the real Tokyo that we once knew. You'll get to find out a little bit of a history lesson with the city, which you might think to yourself, is this? I would say, was this naturally right? If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Which I thought to myself, maybe Hodaka's decision, while it does seem rash to everyone else, is this naturally right for the world around him?
Yeah. And well, that's up to the viewer to decide. I think that's my favorite thing about this film. It's like, the finale kind of lets you decide how you should go at it. Are you going to look at it in a more positive note? Or are you going to go and look at it in the more negative light? It's all up to you, really, from the viewer's perspective, honestly. So, I had to say, man, like, now finally getting into the finale of it all, finally moving the plot stuff and elements and whatnot aside. What a fantastic film this was. What an absolute breathtaking, spectacular, well-written, beautifully animated film that Weathering With You was. From beginning to end, I adored every single piece of it. I finally understood why my buddy Ashton Serena on Twitter went out of his way to watch this film like 7 times. I think he watched this film. I'm like, God damn, how good is this film for you to go out of your way to nearly watch it to that extent? That's like $100-something right there of your pocket, just going for this one film. It can't be that great, can it? Oh, but to me it was.
It's probably worth every single yen to Sato Seri to watch this film like 7 times, and I can understand why.
And because you need to see this film more than once, without a doubt. This film needs your utmost attention from beginning to end, because you need to see how everything all plays together.
And to me, I don't think it's not just the intention. Like, even if you're not one of those people that like wants to hunt for those Easter eggs, I think this film in general has high rewatch value, because I think it's really that good from beginning to end.
Oh, hell yeah, man. It's one of the most amazing films. I cannot wait to get this like for Blu-ray. I want to support this film. I want to show them my love for this film because this film absolutely deserves everybody's attention 100%. Beautifully animated characters, beautiful character designs as well for all the cast, you know. Also we never really got a chance to talk about it, but like Sensei, you know, they had this whole joke with Sensei throughout the entire film.
Oh, was it like Senpai or something like
yeah,
that?
Senpai, I think it was actually. Senpai, yeah.
Yeah.
With the little kid, dude, that shit had me rolling when they actually brought up Senpai. I was like, oh my god, that was great. Especially, oh my god. Oh no, dude, I want to talk about it, but it's like, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm probably going to talk about it anyway. The dude has moves. I'm talking about that little kid. He has swagger on him.
He's a player. That's my son right there.
Yeah, they're like I raised that boy right there, or something like that from Kaguya-sama.
Yeah.
But to me, man, the moment I got massive respect for him was the cross-dressing moment.
Oh man, the lengths and sacrifices this man has to go through. That man right there gets an MVP treatment right there.
Dude, he made this film like 110% amazing, man. Like, the film was 100%. That player, he shot that thing up to 110, man, for me. Beautiful film.
I agree with you 100%. So,
yeah.
Huge shout out to Nagi in this film. Because I think he's like my third favorite character. No, let me put this in different words. He's my favorite character aside from the main protagonist
from this film.
From this film, yes.
Natsumi made the motorcycle chase scene for me. Oh, dude, she was great. Like I told you, she has a lot of character to her story, and when she comes out to help out the squad, it is one of the best moments, man. Like there are so many key moments in this film that you love so much, like the fighting scene with the police, or the chase sequence running away from them. Like there's just so many good dramatic scenes that play out throughout the film that you just love and appreciate every single bit. So to me, without a shadow of a doubt, I am gonna be giving this film a 9 out of 10.
That's about right for me. Yeah.
The only reason why I can't give it a solid 10 is for two reasons. One, I need to see this film multiple times because I know I'm missing a lot of key things that I might have issues with this film that might have been addressed early on, but I didn't pick up. You know, so this is a film that needs to be watched multiple times because, like I mentioned, there will be moments within the film that they will show off stuff at the very beginning that don't necessarily make sense at that moment, but will be brought up again later in the film. And then from there, you're going to be like, oh, that's what they mean. And I think there's a lot of those key moments throughout Weathering With You. So I can't give it a solid 10 yet because I feel like a lot of the complaints I might have are probably answered in the film. I just need to go look for them. And I think that might be its criticism in itself. Like, while it is great, you really, really need to go back and forth just to kind of piece out certain plot points, you know, and flesh it out in ways that I don't think the film just threw into your face. Like, the film doesn't straight up say, oh, this is the plot, you know, this is the thing that's going to be moving forward. No, it lets you, the viewer, put all the pieces together to get to those moments.
Right. And I do want to say this because I don't remember who was the Japanese director or the producer that pointed this out. But do you remember that one criticism that he brought up regarding, Makoto Shinkai holding back on the romance between Horaka and Hina?
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
After watching this film, I don't think it's that. I don't think it was necessary at all. I thought the film was enjoyable, and the bonds between these two characters was just as good without it.
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry. I had to disagree with his criticism there because I still enjoy the film regardless, and these two characters.
Yeah, they made the story. They are the key element of the story, man, and it's like, you know, once again, it's up to you, the viewer, to decide. Yeah, it's the Gundam series, man, that was criticizing the film. Yes, it was him. Yeah, the
Okay,
Gundam
okay.
creator. Yeah, I forgot what his name was. Hold on, let me see if I could find him real quick. Um, Let me see.
But yeah, are you with me there on that criticism?
It's let me read the quote here.
Sure.
Shinkai-kun is still young, so that's why he can make that sort of anime. Let me see. So let's see. Okay, but you know what? He won't give you a scene where a female lead gets finger banged, at the very least figuratively, which is apparently a nigh unforgivable omission in the eyes of Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino. So it says here, speaking in an interview published in the November 4 issue of Japan's weekly Playboy mag. What? Why is he in Playboy magazine? Okay, but that doesn't matter. Tomino gave some of his thoughts on the anime from Shinkai as well as Kyoto Animation, describing the two as sources of anime that are dominating the industry, saying, I think of them thoroughly as rivals. For people of my generation, you don't have to make an anime out of stories like theirs that feel like an autobiographical novel, especially with Shinkai anime. It's all about me, being the main character, and that girl, being the female lead, reaching out their hands to each other. It's so long and drawn out. So he has a lot of things like this he's talked about throughout this interview that he's had in Playboy magazine. But going back to you, Evie, what was the question you had?
I was just asking if you're agreeing with me. If whether you agree or disagree with his criticism of romance being applied into this film.
Dude, I feel like the romance, like I told you, should be something like if the romance was brought in the middle of the film, that ending moment of the film would have been ruined. To me,
Yeah, I agree with you there.
because that was the whole the whole point of the film was to lead to that finale. That finale is so emotionally impactful because you've been craving for it throughout the entire film, that when you finally get to that moment, when they do meet each other, it is such a satisfying feeling. Had there been romantic plot points that were, planted in the middle of the film, and then they tried to play the whole disappearance and then reappearance thing again, that moment would have been, in my opinion, just washed away.
It would have had a different feeling to it. Yeah.
Because it's like they already had romantic implications in the middle of the film. Oh, they reunited again. That's great. But it's like they had romantic feelings, but they saved that towards the end, because that's the whole reasoning why the finale became the way it is. So
And I thought it was. I thought that was pretty satisfying. A pretty satisfying conclusion in itself.
exactly, they let the viewers decide where that story goes from there. And honestly, sometimes the best endings often are the ones that the viewers can decide where it goes next, And this is a film that manages to beautifully capture that 110%. So that's my take on the film. Absolutely adored it. Absolutely appreciate every single minute of it. And I cannot wait to see what the next big anime film for maybe 2020 is going to be. But as it stands right now, Weathering With You definitely deserves all the love, the attention that it has been receiving, because it is a film that I think did an amazing job from beginning to end, and I have no complaints on that. As long as this film continues to be the way it is, and more creators out there can continue to see the creativity behind the film Weathering With You, I feel like we will be getting more fantastic films like this in the coming years. And I hope it is, because I love every
I'm with you
minute
100% on that.
Yeah,
definitely.
So that's my take on it, though. So, Evie, anything else you want to bring up, or shall we now move on into our actual talks for the nights regarding some anime?
Yeah, let's move on. I think we've had a pretty lengthy discussion of Weathering With You.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Overall, for those of you guys who haven't seen it just yet, you will get a good kick out of this animation movie. 100% worth watching.
Yes. So, finally, I'm not gonna lie. Now finally getting out of spoilers talk and all that. I'm just happy, honestly, that I finally found another show to talk about in longer length than a lot of the shows we've talked about prior. Because, to me, the last time we've taken the chance to talk about anime in like lengthy detail was Kanata no Astra, you know what I mean?
Right.
And since then, we've gotten a lot of like smaller shows to break down bit by bit. So it is nice to come back again to at least talk about a story that has so much depth into it that you really just, you just let it all out and not realize that time's going by in such a length because you really love something like this and you really want to break it apart and just explain to the audience what it is you enjoy about the film and why it is, and it makes me happy we could finally have something like that again. Except this time, instead of Kanata no Astra, it's this film, Weathering with You. So
yeah, which I thought that definitely deserved a discussion of its own, which we just having to go through because it's just that good. It's really good.
So yeah. Support the official release. Either watch it Blu-ray, if they put it on Netflix, all that kind of good stuff. Give it a watch. And honestly, if you once again, to bring it back into your thoughts, this is a film that I feel you'll need to watch more than once just to get certain plot points 110% cleared up. But anyway, now finally getting out of that stuff because woo, I'm exhausted about Weathering with You already. Oh, jeez. It was a lot. We had to talk about a lot of things regarding that. So, let's take this last few minutes that we got. Of course, it's a half an hour left we got going on right here. To talk about, a series of things we adore so much. I'm obviously talking about nothing more than none other than anime. Anime is such a beautiful thing. Woo! Do you not agree?
It is beautiful. This is why the world is the way it is today.
Yeah,
because of this wonderful culture that we indulge ourselves in.
Would you risk the world for anime, or would you let anime disappear? Okay, never mind. The safety of my planet or anime. Listen, man, you can't go wrong with anime. Okay, that shit's good. You love every bit of it. All right, so
indeed. So
let me just set this up real quick.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about some of these beautiful winter 2020 anime. And I do say beautiful because once you finally get into, some of these hidden gems and take a shot at some of these anime, you'll find out that you'll eventually find out that winter 2020, you're going to have yourself a good handful of anime to watch at least for every week.
Yeah. And some of it is good, man. In my opinion, some of it is really good. I was surprised to find that there were good shows this season. Because when you just see them for just the screen that they are, like just see the poster in itself, and that's it, you're like, there isn't really anything good out there now, is there? But the moment you decide to try to give something a shot, you'll realize, oh yes, there are a lot of good shows out there. Now, of course, there are a bunch. I mean, I've saw a couple already from this season alone, and there are a lot. I'm talking about, of course, as we see right here in the front, a Haikyuu came back for another season. Kyoko Suiri or Inspector. Somali, which I still need to give a watch eventually. I know that's something that we really need to go into detail because I heard good things about that. I think that was also brought up in the Crunchyroll panel they had in Anime NYC, correct?
You
cut off, Evie?
Hello?
Yeah, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, you saw that in the Crunchyroll panel, correct?
And that'll be which anime?
Somali and something like that.
Yes. Somali in the Forest Spirit, yes.
So there's that. Of course, there's the Neri anime. So, you got that. You got the Shield Girl anime. I finally watched all 3 episodes. That was actually pretty good.
I watched the first episode right before this discussion, by the way. So
nice.
we can give our first impressions on that, at least.
All right.
From what we saw so far.
We have Hanako-kun. I still only watched episode 1, and so I don't have anything to say on that one yet. The Rike ga Koi, or whatever it was, the shortened version of this one. Let me see if I could find the name of it. Rikakoi, or Science Fell in Love, so I tried to prove it. That anime.
Yes, and nice.
I watched all 4 episodes out right now. Evie, you're there? Evie. Oh, there you go.
Yes. Hello. Yes.
Okay. What were you saying, Evie? Because you cut off immediately when you were trying to say something.
No. I was just saying. Saying that you finally caught up with that science anime.
Oh, dude! The moment you recommended that to me, I took the chance to go and give it a watch, and man, I'm so mad I didn't watch it when it premiered because it was so good, in my opinion. Like, dude, that to me is one of my favorite animes of this season. I absolutely love it a lot. Like, it's really great. Like, the comedy element's great. Okay, just to put this into perspective of people's minds, this woman, she goes out of her way to say, listen, I'm in love with you. And the dude's like, okay, you love me, so prove it using science. And this girl, her response to that was like, you want proof? Here's my pie chart exactly telling you what it is that I love about you. And she breaks everything down. I'm talking about dreaming about him, trying to hold hands with him, you know, being next to him. I'm talking about things like that. She has that in a pie chart, all detailed up, the percentage, the count, the heartbeat rating, all of that. She put that down to a T, and I'm like, dude, it's so hilarious.
They get really sciencey about just love. Something that shouldn't be that complicated to begin with.
And they made it as complicated as it. Now thinking about it, relationships are much more, you know, complicated than I thought they'd be. Because if shit like this exists, then okay, I can probably understand why most people are still single. Because if you have to go through this, yeah, you're gonna be having a hard time, buddy. I'm just saying.
Yep. And man, and, and I just like how the rest of the researchers are just getting, you know, their experiments of love, you know.
Yeah, especially when you get into the 4th episode, dude. The 4th episode, I was just rolling, like, dude. Oh my god, did you see the 4th episode yet, by any chance?
It looks your son.
Repeat that again, buddy. Evie, repeat that again, because I think you cut off for me there for a second. Aw, I think Evie's cutting off on me. No, buddy. You there? Aw, he cut off for a second. I think the internet's starting to act up again, buddy. I'm kind of glad it happened after the What Would You review, though. Everybody in the chat, press F for Evie. Our boy has gone for like a brief second. There you are.
Dear God.
You lived. Good job, buddy. I'm proud of you.
All right. But as I was saying, it looks like Macho-san still hasn't died.
Oh,
he
dude.
has not died just yet.
The muscle gods. We're praised it. Like, you thought Machio-san was over. Nah, he brought the spiritual successor into this anime. And does it show?
Man, just make sure you don't piss him off if you're not doing your work. And you'll live.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're gonna get some sort of chest right to your fucking kokoros.
Oh man, to me though, I don't know if you agree with me, Evie. Just out of curiosity, who's the best girl for you in this season?
Man, opinion still hasn't.
Oh, it still hasn't changed.
To be the girl with the yellow skirt.
Oh, you're cutting off again. But you're talking about what was her name? Not Sheen. What was her name? Ibarra. No, that was the other girl. Kanade, was it? I forgot which one it was. Let me see if I got the name right here. I wish they had the pictures here. This would be so useful had they had the pictures. They have the pictures of the VAs instead. damn, but like Kanade is you mentioned the chat, dude. Kanade, I agree with you, Evie, 110%. Kanade was amazing because to me, the thing that makes me enjoy Kanade's character is that she's the only one who's using common sense in this show. I mean, everybody else is like trying their damnness to try to go sciencey as hell in this series, and then she's like, guys, it's love. You don't need to go out of your way to use science to prove love exists. And then it doesn't help that the other assistants are also being ridiculous as well. I'm talking about like Ibarra. Dude, her, first of all, she is absolutely amazing. I love everything about her. Like, she to me is my favorite girl of this season, though.
You're talking about the lolly.
Yeah, well, she's not lolly. Like, she is lolly-ish.
Like it.
Yeah, but she's actually like the oldest, if I'm correct, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
But dude,
yeah, I love her character as well, man.
Oh my god, in episode 4, when she did the stunt and tried to replicate Aika's voice lines from the video games just to fuck around with the poor dude, I was just dying because I'm like, he tried his hardest to run away from that fate, but she knew how to toy with him.
Man, and not just that, but it turns out that bringing back some old memories. Also, did you see that moment where this dude was trying to get into was trying to maintain this like spiritual face?
Yeah, like like he has this ridiculous face, and then you see the background is just like Ibarra that's just busy playing with her 3DS or something.
Yeah,
but it's hilarious because he's like.
Like, you remember that time when we spent time together as kids? Oh, and that time that we fell asleep on each other, and then it turns out that you accidentally peed on me.
Yeah.
And that time when I was about to leave elementary school, you were crying, saying that you want to marry me, and then it turns out I was just toying with you. Stop.
Dude, I felt so bad for him. I mean, in this entire episode, that guy suffered through a lot. I mean, he almost got machioed by the other guy.
and you're talking about suffering. His introduction, I must say, out of all the characters, he probably had like the best introduction in this series, and only for you to find out that he's into these these what do you call it? These
the visual novels.
The visual novels. Like, he's one of those people, and then you just see him just getting humiliated by revealing who he actually is.
Oh my god! And then it doesn't help that you also discover that Ibarra herself is also a BL lover. So
a BL, yeah.
Like, I loved it. Like, when she somehow managed to make the two guys do the wall scene together, and then Ibarra's just in the background, just bursting into tears, just watching them actually, go through that. And I love how he's like, "Oh my god, I don't even know if this is real or not. Let me just click the button to prove that or not." Like, he's like, "Oh man, this guy's actually pretty good." Like, Yukimura, he's actually pretty good,
Like,
and then,
are you actually in love with him?
Yeah, he's questioning his own romantic stuff in this moment. It's great. Like, I love shit like that in this series. My favorite moment in this anime, in my opinion, and I don't know if you agree with me on this one, when they embarrass themselves, I feel embarrassed to even see that play out.
Oh my! This is probably like the second or third time that this happened before to them, or something like that.
Dude, whenever they would bring up embarrassing shit, I just would feel so embarrassed, as if like I was in that show watching them.
Like, you were there,
themselves.
yeah.
I was like when Himuro and Yukimura began to like go out of their way to break down everything in episode 4, and
line
they're
by
like,
line.
yeah, line for line, like word for word. And then Yukimura would come out of nowhere and he'll be like, oh, you're gonna bring that up? Well, let me bring the Ferris wheel scene, and I'm gonna word for word what you said in that scene. And as he's trying to say the lines, he's like steaming up as well. And then the other scientists in the background are like, please, for the love of God, just shut the hell up.
Just end this already. This is already affecting us too.
I'm like, oh my God, it's so, like, that stuff is so embarrassing. I loved every minute of it. And there was another one as well. Ah, man, I forgot which one was the other one.
Okay, while you're thinking of that,
the eggs.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the eggs. Remember that when she made the scrambled eggs, and then she put like the ketchup wording on top of the egg, and you could tell it was made by her.
Yeah.
And then he eats it up. He's like, of course it has to be these eggs that are the greatest eggs. I mean, look at the amount of things that she did for it. It has to be this one as the clear-cut winner. And then from that moment, everybody just died at that second because they're like, please, dear God, help us. It's so embarrassing.
See, it's moments like that. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be funny from a scientific perspective. It's just personal feelings that you just connect with these characters that bring charm and life into this series. And like you brought up those embarrassing moments. That's what gives me life from this anime. It's just really good.
Oh, it is absolutely fantastic, man. I hope people can give this show a watch when they can. If you haven't seen it yet, it is one of the best comedy from this season, in my opinion, or at least one of them anyway. I really had a good time with this one, and a lot of the moments in this show, they're embarrassing, but in a funny way. The comedy is well timed. The characters are fantastic. You have from everybody having their own unique quirk to them. You have the straightforward guy, you have the scientists themselves, you have the BL lover, you have the visual novel lover, you have Machio-san's spiritual successor here. You know, everybody's in this.
And the Kuma, I suppose, also counts as in there as well.
That bear is so stupid. I love it. He's like, listen, man, I already talked about this shit in episode 3. Go back and watch that. Or better yet, just go get the manga. You know what? Go support the official manga. Go buy the manga and read what I said there. And then come back here and let's work on this episode. I'm like...
To me, that was the first time I've seen an anime reference a manga. At least from my experience.
Yeah, they normally always focus on like the episode count, but never like the source of where it all began, being in the manga, you know?
Now they're like, Kuma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta give you some MVP treatment because of that.
Yeah, he knew who to go to. He's like, support the actual official release. And I thought that was great there. So much praise to that bear. I will also say as well, I love the visuals for the opening and ending sequence, especially the ending. Like the walking sequence. Quality.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about ending sequences, though, to me, I don't know if you agree with me, Evie. To me, best ending of 2020, winter anyway, has to go to Inspector. Inspector's ending song, Last Dance, is so good. Oh my god. I love it.
You just can't help but snap your fingers to it, right?
Oh, dude, you feel that jazzy beat. The singing of Mamoru Miyano, you know, him and his melody. It is so goddamn beautiful. I loved every single second of it. Especially like the final chorus of the full version. It is absolutely one of the best moments of that song, man. Every single second of it. I've been playing that song on loop for like hours since I learned that it's actually available to stream on, you know, like the streaming services like either Spotify, Apple Music. Like his music's officially, you know, supported. You can download his songs and listen to them on the go. And I'm like, had to support that 110%. You know, one of these days I need to talk with you guys about like anime music, because the anime industry has evolved in a way that I really love now, because back in the day it was hard to support the official release. You know, you pretty much have to purchase them online from overseas. Yeah, you had to import a lot of it, you know.
Import, yeah.
But like this time around, it's available on streaming services like Apple Music, Spotify. things that support various countries and whatnot. Those kind of services, they are beautiful, man. I love
very convenient. Yes, which I'm pretty happy about because eventually me made a Spotify account, and I could just hear them bangers all day.
You can create a playlist on nothing but anime music. That's how much anime has evolved to the point that it's now accessible across the world. And it's kind of funny too because to me, I see the music, I love the music, I listen to the music, and I'm like, okay, but can I buy the music? No, but you can stream it instead. I'm like, that's a little like, I understand why. I just find that a little odd is all,
It's free for you to listen to the content, but in terms of supporting it, it's still a bit of a struggle nowadays, but...
I think I can understand because, like, probably currency is a little different is probably what's going on here. Maybe that's what's the issue, whatnot, but I don't know. It really is something that I don't have much knowledge on, so unfortunately I can't really break it down as much. But with that being said, though, to me, as of this moment, still best ending of 2020 winter season, man. It's one of the best songs I've heard from this year, and I loved every second of it.
And we're talking about endings, and since we're on the topic of music, I thought it's a good I thought it'd be a good transition to another anime that we still haven't discussed yet into full detail. But now that I get a chance to watch it, we're gonna talk about Sento Academy.
All right, so now
because
as we're talking about endings, though, before we break down the actual plot,
that ending. I will say this though. Look, because when I heard that one particular segment where the singer on the artist went off key during this one particular segment of the ending, I remember your words and I thought to myself, oh, so that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
It's like, but at the same time, it works. It works. Because that's what gives this ending its charm, and I thought overall it was a pretty adorable ending.
Oh yeah, it works. It works for this show.
Yes, just from a visual standpoint and from a listening standpoint.
Yeah,
it fleshes out so well.
I also have to say I appreciate the opening a lot too. I think the opening is also unique. It might not be my absolute favorite, but I just love the creativity behind that opening because it's like all the VAs, the main ones anyway, just pretty much singing about this whole thing. And I love the characters. They are probably the best, honestly, in this show. Like character design wise, I think this show absolutely nails them.
Yes, I'm with you all the way there, man, because immediately, I never thought that the Wolf Girl, I never thought she will immediately win my heart in episode 1.
Oh my gosh, she got me 110% in my heart, dude.
Because honestly, I thought she was gonna be like this generic Wolf Girl, like think of generic in whatever definition you could come up with, but
like a tsundere.
Man, like a tsundere kind of, yeah. Like again, that definition is completely subjective. But man, she in terms of her character, she won me like within a minute after she was introduced. Because she's okay. Look, because when you first got introduced to her, look, she's obviously a wolf, so she'll obviously be like a bit agitated towards people that she never met before, but once you win her favor, that's where the light of her character comes out.
Yeah,
because man, I love her because not only is she adorable, but she's also goofy as fuck.
Oh dude, her all licky scenes and whatnot.
Yes, those are probably one of the highlights from her.
Oh my god, it's hilarious because everybody else looks at her like, what the hell is she doing? And the funny thing is, whenever the licky lick scenes end up happening, it's like in moments where you don't want the licks to happen because it's like, oh no, not the principal, but it was like the president, saw this and recorded and filmed this, and you're like, what is this? This nasty thing I'm seeing right now in my screen, and they they're so disgusted by the licky scene. It's like absolutely hilarious.
Oh, dude, you brought up the president. I just love the censorship that she interprets just from people wearing the school uniforms.
It's like the censorship is like a complete 180. It was absolutely beautiful. My other thing as well that I loved about the president is like when she actually got to the classroom and she got to talk with the main characters and whatnot, she just immediately strips and then straight up calls the dude a pervert, despite what she just did 5 seconds ago, where she just stripped herself completely naked, except of course with the regular attire. But it was so hilarious, just like, you are a pervert, and he's like, did you not see what you just did? Oh, but dude, you know what else was another great scene that I loved from the first episode anyway?
What is it?
The bears.
Oh, of course.
I'm not talking about just the bears that you see at like the very end of the episode. No, I'm talking about the flashback bears.
Well, we're talking about some backstory here, yeah.
Oh my god, it was so great because it's like you get the flashback in two different perspectives. You see one character talking about it in a much more lighthearted note, making him look like the main hero, and then the main protagonist is like, yeah, I was that guy, but see, here's the thing that you didn't bring up. I got my ass beat by those bears. and it wasn't like they were like gruesome bears. No, they were looked like Winnie the Pooh bears just beating the shit out of this kid. It's like a bunch of bears just coming in and slobbing the deck out of him, and you feel so bad for the poor dude. But it's hilarious.
And he's hated animals ever since. That's where he got his character.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? That moment right there is, well, I mean, to be fair, if I was to get punched in the face by 3 bears and holding me down, I would probably too. But man, that shit had me dying the first time I saw it. It was great.
Now, continuing on with the characters, the sloth girl. I love her already.
Who?
The sloth girl.
Oh my god. I read the manga a little bit.
Look, we can talk about her all day. But then she dies.
Yeah, she just dies. I also love the sequences where like they fast forward it, and then she dies immediately after. Like I'm not lying. Like every single sequence that she comes up in, when she just makes one step, when she tries to say something, when she tries to pour tea, when she's trying to walk in the opening, she dies in every single goddamn thing imaginable. And it is so hilarious in terms of how they do it. I also love how she has become everybody's best girl in this show as well. Funny enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty confident I could tell why. Also, I love her little, like, as if she has like a shower cap on her head with the green, it's green
algae.
Moss. Yeah. I love how they made it look like a hat. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
There's just so many good elements in this episode, in not just episode, but like in this series. As well, like let's talk about the panda.
Oh, the panda. Ugh.
Yeah, was it the panda or was it the no, not the panda, I'm sorry, the koala. The panda is coming later. The koala, dude, I don't know, do I feel happy for her that she discovered the secret, or do I feel bad for her that she discovered the secret?
Well, nonetheless, it was a pretty shitty secret.
Aww. Dude, though, like I felt bad. To me, also another character I liked was Catgirl.
The tsundere cat girl. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, since I was talking about like as if I wanted a tsundere wolf girl, we ended up getting a tsundere cat girl, and I loved it because like the reason why they find out that she wanted to be in the club so bad was because of her tail. And now in normal tsundere characters that we see in other shows, it's kind of difficult to sometimes tell when they want something or not. But like because of the cat's tail, they were able to just pinpoint exactly what she wanted to do. And she would like have her tail up in almost every single scene when they're with them. It's great. Right. And then the dude's like, "No, you want to join our club, don't you? Yeah, you could tell by your tail." And he's like, and she's like, "Oh, all this time, I've wanted to join with you." is what you guys are thinking I'm gonna be saying, but no, I'm not gonna be joining you guys at all. I'm out of here. And she just like cat runs away, and she's great. She's a great addition. And then oh my god, her scene with the naked mole rats were great as well.
Oh yeah.
Where like the mole rats, I'm talking about like the ones that look like they got beaten to a pulp. They got like scar marks and everything, and they look like straight up motorcycle gang members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like,
I know you're
we got this for you, president. We're gonna protect you. We're gonna and then they just get caught by the cat girl, and you just see all of them just crying in pain, and the president's trying to go back to them. He's like, no, give them back to me. It's sequences like that I loved so much, man. It was great. This show, comedy wise, is some of the best. Like, I honestly, like, the reason why I cannot compare the science anime with this anime is because they completely hit two different notes. One focuses on like a comedy / science style, where this one's more on this comedy / slice of life. Well, not slice of life, but like school.
Comedy, zoology.
Yeah.
It's basically zoology, the anime, just in a more comedy school anime approach.
Yeah. It's great, man. I love every bit of this show, and I can't wait for more episodes to drop later down the road. It's one of my favorites from this season.
Yeah, and since we're sticking with comedy and with music, we gotta talk about Interspecies Reviewers episode 2.
That revelation, my boy. That revelation. Oh God.
So, does size matter? Or does size does not matter?
That is the question.
But man, that angel had it coming. That unfortunately he was not able to get the tree he's been seeking.
Dude, man, I just love when like they get the revelation. You see all the characters turn their head to the angel, and then everybody's like, you can't be serious.
You possess such a thing.
And you gotta remember, this angel has both, okay?
Both. But at least when it comes to what was between his legs. Damn.
Damn. Okay, here's the thing. When I saw this poster, okay? When I saw the poster for this show, I did not think it would end up being great. Because you see this.
So either.
You see all this, and you think, oh, it's going to be one of those kind of shows. Oh, it's going to be one of those where they're going to take the hentai to like a whole new level. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be grotesque and all that. And it throws you off with how hilarious this show is.
And I'm glad we were actually wrong.
Oh, dude.
This show turned out to be better than we thought it would be.
This show is my shocker anime of 2020. I was going to straight up say after the first episode, I was going to say, I thought this anime was atrocious. Don't watch it. Get away from it. It is a bad anime for you, is what I thought I would have said when I watched the first episode. I came out of that, ended up humming to the beat of the melody of the opening song. I'm like, I'm dancing to that beat. I got the full version up. Oh, dude. Okay.
Music.
Did you listen by any chance to the full opening of the Ichizuku Reviewers?
I did not, but you've got to tell me about the lyrics, man.
Oh my god. Okay. There is a segment. There is a segment in the opening song, the full version, where they have like this chorus singing where it's like one guy says something and then the entire crowd says what he says, kind of thing.
Like a follow-up, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, give me an A kind of thing, you know. So, I'm going to give you the legit lyrics, okay, to this sequence of the opening, alright?
Go ahead.
Okay, now, I'm going to say a letter or a word, and you're going to, you know, of course, follow up with that by repeating the same thing I say, okay, ready?
Alright, come on, Chad, you guys can join in too.
Yeah, join in with me, folks. I want you guys to write it down, alright, ready? Let's begin. O. Double P. A.
A.
I.
You cut off there. What was that?
I.
Yeah.
And then you had to just say that again. OPPAI.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that spell?
What is that? Oh, bye.
Exactly. They did that in the opening song. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god.
Man.
That shit had me rolling when I heard it in the opening song. I was like, this is my favorite opening comedy-wise for this season. It's so catchy. It reminds me of the one YMCA and in the Navy, like fused together with Japanese culture and hentai, and it's like, here you go. You got yourself this show.
This is a revelation right here. Man.
Please please give this. I need you to listen to the full version of this song, okay? It is so good. It is so good, man. This anime ended up being one of the most disgusting animes in just like first person like perspective, just by seeing the visuals alone, and ended up being one of my favorite animes of this season for all the wrong reasons. It is so great. I honestly thought I was like, this is it. This is gonna be the follow-up to Isekai Shit Magician that I was thinking I needed in my life. And it was so like, too. No. It is great. You love these characters. Everybody's so cool. And everybody has their unique quirk to go along with them. And then, of course, the brothel scenes when they actually go to them.
And another thing I also want to bring up from episode 2. We also got a special cameo from Piccolo.
Oh my god, I hope he comes back for future episodes, I'm just saying.
I hope so too, man.
I loved how it was like, I think the whole point of that second half of the episode was they were supposed to go to like demons or something like that.
Yeah, like they were supposed to go to demon brothels to promote the images of demons, which is supposed to help out with this upcoming election, apparently.
Yeah, and I'm like, election? What the hell is going on in this society? But dude, that whole sequence was just great. I loved every minute of it. I can't stop dying of laughter of it.
Just when you thought that they were about to go into a devil brothel, they see some cowgirls with them huge, as you call it, opai.
Opai.
And when you see opai, you get drawn by them.
Oh, but dude, they're walking. Their walking noise.
The animation.
It's just pure silence, and then like that.
Honestly, that was a moment that made me laugh so hard on episode 2.
I died of laughter in that scene because it's just pure silence for a second, and then suddenly out of nowhere, as you see their goofy animation play, you hear as they're walking straight to the right to go to the cow brothel. And then they review that. It's so hilarious because it's like, oh boy, they better follow up with the demon coming back being like, bro, what the hell? I told you to go to the demon. What are you doing with these cowgirls for? That's so great. Like, I loved every bit of it.
Man, but that was a really great episode. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, also, I forgot the first episode, Maidri, the maid, I think she is.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's what was she again? I know she was like some kind of harp.
She's like a bird human hybrid.
Yeah, something like that. And they had like the whole thing breakdown, and then she read the reviews because she was of the species, so she was also interested to read what was going on. And then she hears about the whole thing regarding the neck. And then
Stunk, well, the neck's very sensible.
Also, by the way, Stunk is a badass name. I don't care what anybody says. Stunk is like best name. he does that finger motion on her neck, and she just like goes through that little moment as well, and gets beats Stunk's ass in that sequence. Was just hilarious, man.
She just got whammed by a bar stool.
I know, and it's funny because I think Maidri has feelings for Stunk, so this
Really?
did not help out because like when they were away for a couple of days, Maidri was a little concerned about their whereabouts, because he was like, where are they?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I think she has feelings for Stunk. But Stunk, of course, is busy doing all these other things out there, so I don't think that'll ever get anywhere. But man, she's a great girl, though.
She is, man.
Yeah, but none will ever be better girl, though, than Angel Girl / Boy. She's best girl and best boy. And it shows.
Indeed.
I just love the reaction everybody had where they're like, huh? When they find out the revelation. Oh, good lord.
Oh, you also gotta love that segment where they were having their things measured.
and then he comes out of nowhere where he's like, they didn't let me in.
It's like, he's like, here, 16.4 centimeters. Don't fucking read it out loud, woman.
Oh my god, it's so hilarious because like they had to write down the count for it because they were in a ferry area. So
each ferry.
Go on.
So each ferry had their limits, so they had to do the measurements before they could proceed.
And Stunk got the worst end of the stick on that one, whereas Zell and the others were able to get more benefit in regards to more options. But then you get to the Angel, and she just straight up gets rejected because he's on like an SS tier level I'm talking about. And yeah, that's the message. Bigger does not always mean better. What a beautiful message. Don't you agree, ladies and gentlemen?
Man, I never thought that a very edgy anime would provide such meaningful messages.
I know, right? You never thought that such anime of disgusting culture, as people would say, would end up being the one to end up giving the most inspirational quotes out there in the world. In other words, bigger is not always better. But man, I was dying of laughter with this series. I'm so happy. Like, sincerely, I am so happy this anime came out for the better. It's great. Absolutely great.
Indeed. If anything, like this anime came into our lives uninvitingly, I want to say. Because honestly, we had no intentions of watching this whatsoever, but
it wasn't until a viewer in our chat were telling us to watch one of the episodes.
It was Joey, if I recall correctly. Yeah, but man, that man is a life changer for us.
Yeah, he brought us a hidden gem. I would say Ishizuka Reviewers is our hidden gem of this year.
Indeed, man. It's funny and it's entertaining for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
But that's why you love this anime.
But I feel like the wrong reasons that they have in this show are so well executed. Like they don't do too hard on it. They try to bring up those elements, but it's like that's not the main core of the series. It's the reviewing part of it that's hilarious because it allows your imagination to kind of play wild with it, not actually witnessing it in action for these individual characters. So when you get those sequences when they're pulling the buzzer or trying to play bowling, and you see them trying to commit strikes and whatnot, and everybody has like an individual score for each other, it is stuff like that that really is the highlight of this show, and you love every bit of it. So hopefully more people will try their chance to give it a shot. Now I do want to bring something up. There is a uncensored version of this show,
and from what I've heard, they're actually up in pornography sites. So for those of you guys who want easy access to the uncensored version, well, even though your sites, you know where to go.
yeah, we ain't gonna give you the source. Now, here's the thing. Anybody would try to do that. To me, I said no. Hell no. hell no, I ain't gonna do this. And there's one reason why I intend to make sure I never watch this uncensored. That one girl.
Wait, can you repeat that? You were cutting down some part.
There's one character in this show that's forcing me not to watch it uncensored.
Oh boy.
That one chick that Zell loves.
You're talking about the 50-year-old human, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch the uncensored version of episode 1 by any chance?
No. I don't want to see that. I want to be pure. As pure as I could possibly be at this point in my life. But dude, please, dear God, I don't need to see that. Alright? I'm pretty confident people love titty as much as anybody else, but my God, that is one I do not wish to witness, man.
Well, I'm pretty sure there are other species in this world that would disagree with us. But, man.
Oh, dude.
Unfortunately, the uncensored version will being used on unpleasant sites, so to say.
Somebody just said go anime. Nah, but yeah, so overall, I think this season of anime, the best way to summarize it, you have to go and look for them. They're not going to be up in front for you. You have to go out of your way to find them.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's just one of those seasons that you had to do the actual searching yourself. Because that isn't how we actually approach this. We just looked at what's interesting to us and just watched from there.
Yep.
But man, it's the actual searching that we had to do ourselves that we come across gems like interspecies reviewers.
Hell yeah! So
yeah. So it's all up to you guys to find out what fits your taste by doing the searching.
Indeed. Of course, this discussion we had for tonight, this podcast was mainly focusing a lot on the core of Weathering With You, because that was our film that we've wanted to talk about for a very long time. I can't believe you actually gave us a link, goddammit. But, now moving into the next week or whenever we can, we're obviously going to start breaking down a lot of anime shows, and we're probably going to try to see which one it is in particular that we would love to go more into detail. I know we're probably going to do for the science anime. We're probably going to do for My Hero, and whatnot.
We still got to break the ground for that one Shield anime.
Yeah, Shield Girl. I really want to talk about that one. I will say, though, I'm sad there's only 3 episodes out right now, because I really want a 4th one, especially with how they kind of ended things off in episode 3 for that one. So I'm curious about the next episode. But for the 3-episode rule, I have to say the pacing is really spot on, man. It's really good.
Really,
the pacing.
Now. So it's a good redemption from that unspoken.
We don't talk about that one. Okay, that's on a tier on its own, man. That does not deserve to be discussed in any way, shape, or form, despite us talking about it like 10 minutes ago.
so the 3-episode rule is pretty good, right?
Yeah, I do. I would give a recommendation of give it a watch. Definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my opinion, of course. Everybody has their own personal taste at the end of the day. Not everyone's going to come to an agreement on everything. But to me, I truly believe that this is a good... The Shield anime is a good one. And I think most people will get a good kick out of it. So, we'll probably go more into detail about it in just a bit. As in, whenever we get back to our anime podcast discussion sometime later in the next week or in the following. We're not sure. We'll keep you guys up to date on that, though. But for now, I think right now would be the perfect opportunity for us to kind of go and wrap things up for tonight. What do you say, Evie?
Yes. I thought it was a pretty good discussion overall.
Yeah, it was a great discussion on being able to talk about Weathering With You. I feel so glad I could finally talk about it. Even if I didn't really spoil as much as I wanted to, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I really want you guys to go and give it a watch yourself. But just once again, remember,
we care about you guys.
Yeah. Watch it with your utmost attention, because if you don't, you might miss something out. Oh, you blinked? Well, you missed a scene, a very important one at that.
Too bad. Now you pay another $10.
Yeah, now you got to pay another one. So once again, folks, I want to thank everybody so much for joining us here tonight. Of course, I got with me my co-host here, Alpha EV. Make sure to go and check him out over on his Twitter. Of course, make sure to follow him there. Once again, Evie, thank you so much, of course, as always, for...
Oh, of course. Always fun being here.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun. I feel happy to be able to talk about anime in this way, because I feel like these kind of things will never, ever fit in a regular Monday session of the pod when we have Pokemon-related stuff to talk about, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, definitely. Unless it is on special occasions, but yeah, for anime, it needs a special occasion in itself.
Indeed. So, folks, that's going to be it for now. I want to hear from you guys, maybe on Twitter, social media. Please let us know what anime shows you would like for us to really go further into detail for, like, the next anime pod that we'll do later in the week. You know, of course, there's so many shows out there. Are there any ones that we did not talk about or haven't watched at all that you would like for us to go and give a shot? You know, a lot of these anime shows that we watch were mainly from recommendations that you guys gave to us, like for this one with Ishizuka Reviewers, or the other one that was based on the Shield Girl. You know, you guys gave us recommendations for those to give a shot on, and we did give it. So if you guys got any more recommendations, please leave them out, you know, either on Twitter, social media, all that. We'll do our best to try to watch them, and then when we come back into our anime talk once again for the following week, we'll let you guys know what we think of it. So until then, folks, I thank everybody so much once again. This is KG Prestige. Here with me is my buddy Alpha Evie. And it's going to be the end of the night for us. So ready to go, Evie?
Goodbye.
Yes, so once again, folks, thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. And we will talk with all of you guys later in whatever video we make. Take care, everyone. And as always, have yourself an awesome day.
Peace out.